Hello, Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go. Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania. As new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
What's up, everyone? Dave Cottingham here, and with me in studio this week, we've been kind of getting all these guests in this past few weeks because Casey's still tending to his brand new Padawan. With us today in studio, you know him from all kinds of stuff, especially from this channel. Chad Perkins.
Hi.
What's up, man?
Well, not much.
Welcome.
I'm here.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Chad, we just looked it up. It's been since about March, so
Right.
not as long as the last time.
No.
It was like 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
So Chad was in March, so that means that was before Celebration. So let's just take us back a little bit. How was this celebration for you? This past one?
It was great. I seem to remember waiting in less lines this time.
That's because you didn't get in as many? No, we waited. We
did.
Stayed overnight.
You did. I didn't.
Oh, wait, you didn't.
No.
That's right.
Yeah. I required a bed.
That's right.
Yeah, Charles and I both.
Wait a minute. Okay, so
were like...
it was just me. Yeah, it was me, Cody, Anthony, and Adam. I think that was it.
What about Casey?
All right, and Casey. Yeah, and Casey.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So you missed the whole Ryan Johnson thing.
I did.
Yeah.
But I saw it streaming from somewhere, I think.
The Ryan Johnson, him coming out?
Maybe.
No one streamed that.
Okay.
You probably
Maybe
saw
not.
some video of it later, but
Yeah. That's what... Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys, you guys missed the Jedi panel, which was, it was just a release of the teaser, and some people came out. Some guests came out there. Obviously, you've been there before, so you know it's pretty much all the same thing. But overall, did you? Because you, and Charles are the only ones that went to Anaheim. Better or worse than Anaheim?
Overall, I would probably give the edge to Anaheim. A little bit.
Even with the 40th panel?
Well,
because that was pretty awesome.
It was. I mean, that was definitely a highlight that's tough to beat.
And the fact that we drove all night, and that was the first thing we went to.
Yeah.
I can't even believe we got a seat to that.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, that was definitely the highlight. But just overall, I think a lot of it has to just do with the location. I just prefer Anaheim.
I did like the Anaheim's location.
Yeah,
I gotta admit that.
seemed more cohesive,
Food trucks,
exactly. The big cosplay thing out front, outside, and also just the didn't see a big AT-AT there, and it just, I don't know, it just seemed like there just wasn't as much celebration around. When you take the panels out of it and you're just talking about the general feel and ambiance, I just thought I would probably give the edge to Anaheim.
Yeah, I loved how Anaheim, because that was the first time that it was at the Anaheim Convention Center. We went to when it was in Los Angeles.
That's right.
In Celebration 4.
Right.
But Anaheim was the first time that I was there, and that was the first time I'd been in that convention center. And I'm sure they hold other cons there, so other people probably experience that. But you're right, that it felt more compact. Like you didn't have to go very far to go to different things. Orlando is very spread out.
Yes.
Like you have to walk a mile to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And Anaheim, and then plus the theater that they had, the kind of stadium seating dome almost that they had set up for that. That was a lot better than what they have in Orlando. Orlando, they just have stages.
Yeah.
And Orlando, they had to, again, we're not knocking Star Wars Celebration by any means, but compared to Anaheim, I think Anaheim just has a more fan friendly experience in the area. Mm-hmm. And but either way, I'm going, so it doesn't really matter where it's at.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think Anaheim was plus. I mean, now I do agree though. I do think that Orlando, this past one, I mean, with the 40th anniversary panel, with Last Jedi panel, I kicked myself that I didn't get into the Rebels thing. I decided not to because I didn't think they were going to show anything. Of course, they showed the first episode. But anyway, I did feel like the live part, they obviously figured it out and got better after a couple of years.
Yeah.
That whole live stage and all that stuff was really cool.
Yeah.
In Orlando.
That was.
So anyway, we went and did that. Obviously, we keep saying 2019 is they announced it that there was going to be 2019. There's no date yet, but I'm assuming it's usually around the April time frame. So we'll see. They have done Orlando Celebration where we went before. It was in August. So we'll just have to see. They pushed back. So we'll get into our first topic here. Normally we run through the news. There's really not that much news, so we're going to kind of run through the news as we get through this. But I wanted to get Chad's opinion on a topic we dove into a lot last week was the director change. We had Cody and Anthony on here last week because they both are doing commentaries as well. We'll talk about yours here soon. J.J. Abrams is coming back.
I've heard of him.
You have heard of him?
Yeah.
A fan?
Yeah, he did Super 8.
He did Super 8.
I think he's done some other stuff.
Yeah. TV World, obviously.
Oh, yeah, Lost. That's what it was. That was the other thing. It was Lost. He did Lost.
Lost. Alias. And of course, he rebooted Star Trek.
Yeah.
Which we won't talk about on there.
But, I'm surprised you even said it.
Yeah, I know, right? I only like it because of JJ.
Yeah.
So, Colin Trevorrow out episode 8 or episode 9 because, again, creative differences with Kathleen Kennedy and him, and we can beat around the bush why that happened or what, because there's been obviously director changes and problems with movies that have been going on so far, but a few weeks ago when JJ wasn't necessarily announced, but the announcement of the firing had happened, Russell made a good point saying that, look, this stuff happens all the time. It's just the day and age now that everybody hears about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So thoughts on that, thoughts on, what you expect from episode 9 now that J.J. Abrams is a part of it. Now he's writing it. If you didn't know, he's co-writing, and dang it, I forgot his name already. But he's co-writing the movie. The guy who's co-writing it with is kind of a Ben Affleck guy. He co-wrote Argo, and I think The Town. I'll get his name while you're talking, but he is co-writing, and then he's fully directing episode 9. So go.
So before was Colin Trevorrow writing 9?
He was writing and directing, based on the story though from Rian Johnson, who is episode 8's director.
Okay, well that makes more sense because when you said from creative differences, I was thinking, well, how much creative difference with just a director if the script is there? So so that makes sense.
But Han Solo, those guys got fired. They didn't write it. Lawrence Kasdan wrote it.
Right.
They got fired because they were on set kind of changing scripts and doing some ad-libbing and making it a little bit more comedic than they really wanted to make it.
It's dangerous.
Even the actors were saying how they were feeling strange because they were doing the scene and all of a sudden they were like, no, do it this way or do it this way. And like, that's not how it, anyway, that's all rumor apparently, but the truth will come out eventually, I'm sure.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously episode 7 was very well done with JJ. So I think, it makes sense. Is it maybe kind of the safe call? I guess you could say it is, because he has done 7 instead of finding a third director for 9, someone else who hasn't done it. But I'm happy with it. I've heard opinions of others around the office about how it's going to be Return of the Jedi. But I don't think so, because I don't know. I think Episode 7 was a lot like Episode 4. We all agree with that, and not saying that was a bad thing, but that's definitely a popular opinion, and I just don't see JJ following suit and then making 9 like 6.
Right.
So I'm fine with it. I also heard that getting J.J. Abrams to direct a Star Wars is the closest we'll ever get to getting Steven Spielberg. But that's my question. Why couldn't we get Steven Spielberg?
I think we are going to get Steven Spielberg.
And I know the reason originally, but now that Disney owns it, that's no longer a reason, because the DGA and all that jazz. So why couldn't we get?
Well, it was reported back when I think it was either right after the buyout or right before the buyout. But again, he got asked about doing a Star Wars movie, and he kept saying that no, that's George's thing. I don't want to get involved. That's his thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's not his thing.
It's not his thing.
So it's Kathleen Kennedy, his producing partner's thing.
Right.
I said it the last few weeks. I think we are going to get a Steven Spielberg Star Wars movie.
But what would that be? Would that be an episodic? Would that be 10?
Well, what would you like to see him do?
I feel like if he's going to do one, it should be a Skywalker story, which pretty much means an episodic, right? Mm-hmm. Because if he just does a Star Wars story, it just doesn't seem as special. I don't know.
Why?
Just because, I don't know. Because it's new. Think
about this, though. What if it was a Kenobi movie?
Yeah. Or a Yoda movie. Yeah.
What about Kenobi with Ewan McGregor?
Oh, man.
Right?
Finding Obi-Wan Kenobi.
saving Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Saving General Kenobi.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
That's what I want to see. Now, I do think that I do think it's a I don't necessarily say it's a stretch, but I do think it would have to be the right story, obviously, for him.
Yeah.
I think Obi-Wan would be it. I would sense that Han Solo would have been it. Like if it was Ron, I wouldn't be surprised if he would have been announced instead of Ron Howard. But
so I don't even do. Obviously he's got big ties to Harrison Ford, and since it's the Harrison Ford character, but not actually him. I don't know if he would want to. Why direct the poor man's Harrison Ford when he's directed Harrison Ford? Or I don't know if did he direct?
Yeah,
Indiana Jones.
Yes, Indiana Jones he did,
or just produce. He did direct.
No, he directed.
Okay,
directed them.
So he's directed him. So why direct some young punk?
He could have make him act like Harrison.
I guess.
I don't know. Chris Terrio is the writer that he's co-writing with, who wrote Argo, writing episode 9. So, so no, I don't know, concerns at all about. Well, let's back up to the episode 8 because we're getting close to what is being reported as a second trailer coming here a week from Monday. So October 9th, if you guys haven't read that or heard that yet. Now the report that came out too that a week ago was that there was a tweet floating around that I think Mark Hamill ended up deleting because he said something. I think it was like, when can we expect a new trailer? And so, Mark Hamill tweeted out saying, I'd be watching Monday Night Football on October 9th if I were you or something like that. And
just saying.
Just saying. Yeah, just saying. Immediately got deleted, but of course people screen capture right away, and it still got out there. So it took a little while, but they announced today. There's been some reports today saying no, it is coming October 9th. So Monday Night Football is when they did the Force Awakens final trailer a couple years ago. So that's what we can expect. Monday Night Football. Remember, we were filming Gotham when it hit, because here's the thing: is that now we figured this out. Me and Cody we did the math, which I didn't know. Maybe you knew. I didn't know this, but for some reason you can't pre-sell tickets until 60 days of release.
Oh,
so I didn't know that, because I did the math. I went back 2 years ago from Force Awakens release date, from the day that trailer hit, and sure enough, it was 60 days. But this year, if it's truly October 9th, a week later, October 16th, is actually 60 days. So I would venture to say that you will not be able to buy tickets. They won't push ticket sales the 9th. They will probably say, in 1 week, get your tickets. The tickets go on sale. Because, I mean, sites were crashing all over the place. I was trying to buy, right? You know, that the whole time I was sitting there trying to buy off Fandango.
Yeah.
And it was just massive crashing everywhere. So I anticipate they'll hint or let everybody know when tickets will be on sale. Again, October 16th is 60 days out. So, anyway, so trailer coming. I guess the big question is, do you need to see anything else from episode 8?
I mean, like, why? To decide if I'm going to buy a ticket? I mean, no.
No, but do you feel like, because I am truly, I sit here, we do the show every week, and I sit here and say constantly, I have no idea what the story is in episode 8. I cannot even venture to guess right now. If I see a trailer, another one, I will be able to start piecing things together. Because we did that with episode 7. And we did it with Rogue One.
Yeah.
So part of me actually really does not want to know any part of the story. Because right now, I can tell you, obviously, as you probably know from the teaser, is that, there's a new planet, Crate. Rey finds Luke and starts training, but Luke is lost, and you see glimpses of the temple burning, and you see Phasma, and you see Kylo still, and it's like, but I don't know where. I just don't know where it goes.
Yeah,
there's this casino, Canto Bight somewhere in there. It's like, so I don't know. If I start seeing other planets, if I start seeing people talking more, you can really start piecing things together. So I don't know.
No, I don't need another.
Like, do you want? I mean, you're obviously gonna watch it, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think I won't be able to not to. I won't be able to not do it. It's just gonna be too big of a temptation. I mean, I could try to not for a couple hours, but
a couple hours.
Yeah, it's just like a crackhead. It's just like I need another hit. So, but as far as episode 8, I'm a little nervous about
Really?
it. Yeah, I mean, not that it's going to be bad, but just what they're going to do. Just hearing Mark Hamill, talk like I would figure episode 8 would be this and this would happen, and then none of that stuff happened. It was.
You mean 7?
No, 8.
Oh, you're. What do you mean?
Like him talking about what he would.
Oh, right.
Figure what Luke Skywalker would do, and then it was just completely different than what he was thinking. It has me a little nervous. Like, are they going to kill Luke? Han dies in 7. They're setting it up for the next generation, and rightfully so, because these characters can't live forever. The actors can't. The characters can. The actors can't.
Correct. CG.
Yeah, CG. And we've already seen that.
Yeah.
But, in episode 8, if it follows the trilogy thing, is going to be the darkest. So there's your perfect opportunity. I don't want them to. We didn't even get a word out of them in 7. We didn't get the Holy Trinity back together on screen, which now we never will. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now they're just going to take Luke and kill him 3/4 or halfway through the movie.
So you think he's going to die?
I'm really scared that he is.
Okay.
And I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I want him in episode 9. We're not going to have Leia.
No. Yeah, that's unfortunate for sure. I do think I part of me, most of me would agree with you on his death. But now I don't think that's, I actually think, I mean, I don't want to sound disheartened by this, but because of Carrie Fisher's death, I do think Luke lives on to episode 9 now, for sure. Because there was those talks that 7 was Han's, 8 was Luke's, 9 was supposed to be Leia's. Like Leia was supposed to be heavily involved in 9.
Yeah.
So now that she's not and it's getting rewritten, I think Luke is going to get more into 9.
Yeah.
Now, obviously the biggest thing to me that is, and it is said to be answered in this movie, is Rey's
her lineage.
Yeah. And who her parents are. Any thoughts on still who that is?
No, his guess is as good as anybody's.
Yeah.
I don't know. You would really think that it's Luke, but is that too obvious? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really. I used to. I mean, going into 7 and coming out of 7, it's like Luke. It's Luke's the dad. But I truly am not there anymore.
Right.
I don't think I'm there anymore. I'm actually. I told Casey. I'm actually more. I don't know if I told you this, but I'm actually really truly leaning more towards that. She is Leia's daughter, but not Han's.
Leia, how could you?
No, but that she's the chosen one.
Oh, so there was no father.
There was no father.
Interesting.
I'm really leaning more towards that.
That would make sense why Leia would be so prominent in 9, the original plan.
Because there was supposed to, I think, again, this is totally my opinion. I never heard any of this, but there was a lot of moments I feel like that were going to be with Leia and Kylo. And then, of course, that's his sister, right? So you still have Skywalker kids. They're not twins. I mean, Solo kids, not twins, but they're brother and sister still. So and the only reason I think that too is there was a ton of talk about this whole Chosen One thing, and that kind of died. But I have a feeling something is there with that. There's something there with that.
Now, would it be too weird and gross if, like, Luke manipulated the Force to get his sister?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so.
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird. It is a little weird.
It's a little weird.
It is a little weird, but I actually thought about that. You know, it's because there were rumors. You know, I keep saying there are rumors, but there were talks back in the original trilogy. There was people throwing the rumors around that Palpatine was the one that did the Anakin, right? But obviously that's never been canonized, and maybe this never will either. But I do think, you know, again, there was talks about how we would see more Force ghosts, and the talk of the Chosen One would be brought up to, because you know there's that famous line that was floating around for a while that Luke, you know, when Anakin says, "I am your father," when Rey asks Luke, who is he says, you are my father.
Same.
So basically, she's the chosen one.
Yeah.
So she's not Anakin, but she's almost a reincarnation of Anakin as the chosen one.
Oh, so Anakin was the chosen one. Rey is also the chosen one. So if so facto, Rey is Luke's father.
But yeah, in a chosen sense, you know what I mean? Not literally, but
In a Force sense.
in a Force sense, because his father was the chosen one. So it's like, but it's not. He's not. So that's why I think she was born like Anakin. But I'm saying that Leia was maybe the mother because, and again, I have the proof. The factoid about that a little bit is that when you read the novels, there's a book, Bloodline, that takes place 5 years before Episode 7. And it explains in that how much her and Han, they're married, but they're both living separate lives. Like he's out still doing his thing. She's doing the Senate thing, so they rarely see each other. Even with Ben, they had Ben, they were raising him at a certain point, but then Luke takes him to go train him. So they don't even have Ben. Like in the book, at some point in the book, she's saying that she was like, it was like 6 months she had not heard from Luke or Ben. So, and even Han, he was gone forever for a while. But so that's what made me think like, well, he's in and out. He wouldn't even necessarily know that she got pregnant and had another child. I'm not even sure he knew that Rey was his kid, not his kid, but Leia's kid.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like Luke, if he found that out, like if she was pregnant, told Luke was like, well, I know what's happening here. As soon as the baby's born, I will protect her. And then, of course, I think he had her at the temple, and then things went bad. He drops her off at Jakku and goes. So that's my theory right now until I see more of Episode 8.
It makes the most sense.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
You think? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because because Casey was saying the same thing. He's like, no, that actually sounds, based on everything we've read and heard, it's like that's not a bad conclusion, but
yeah.
Because right now, other than that, I have no idea.
Right.
I have no idea. I
Yeah.
mean, it could be Luke's kid. She could be Luke's kid. She could be Obi-Wan's granddaughter, like some people talk about. I have no idea. She could be Lando's kid. No, not really, probably. But
Snoke's kid.
Snoke's, yeah. See, yeah, Snoke's kid. I don't know. Yeah, who is Snoke? Still, is people saying it's Jar Jar.
No, it's Boba Fett. He got all chewed up in the Sarlacc. That's what he looks like.
Wow, I've never heard that one. So, what do you think Snoke is somebody that we know, or you think he's actually just Snoke?
Yeah, it almost seems a little too gimmicky to make him someone that we know. So I think he is just somebody. That we're not somebody, I should say.
Yeah.
He's just Snoke.
I guess. I mean, of all the books and stuff that I'm reading, there's just, obviously they're not going to hint at it, but there's just, you would think that there would be some mention of somebody that powerful. Mm-hmm. Especially in like the Aftermath series. And then, like I said, Bloodline was Leia's story, and then it kind of leads up to the discovery of the First Order, like the first discovery of the First Order. I just don't know where he would have came from. If he wasn't somebody that was like if he's not like a Palpatine clone or something like that, I just don't know where he came from. So
yeah, obviously
that should be answered as well. So, yeah, trailer coming out. We've got Rebels. The final season of Rebels is actually airing the following week now, the Monday, October 16th. Now, there's some clarity on the release of that because when they put a press release out there for it, it was weird because they had all these different time slots. They had midnight, 3 a.m, 9 a.m, 5 p.m, 9 p.m, or something like that. So So to clear that up, what's happening is at midnight on Monday, it's actually available on the app, Disney XD app. So you can actually go on there and watch it right away, all day. Those are just the times it's then airing on Disney XD. So you can catch it at midnight, you can catch it at 3 in the morning. I think it was like 9 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, and then 9 at night. So, but I think regularly after that, I think it's Mondays at 9 is when the series premieres each week. So the first episode is just going to be pretty much out every week, out all day long, running all day long. Rebels season 4, last season. You excited about, or well, how do you feel about it being the last season though?
Kind of weird. It seemed to bum people out when they announced that at Celebration. You know, I mean, yeah, especially Warwick Davis. You know, finally getting in the cast.
I know,
and then like pretty much right after they introduced him to the stage, they're like, "And this is the last season." And then the camera pans over to him, and he's just like,
"Yeah."
You know, I don't know. Like they did the same thing with Clone Wars, cut it short, but that had to do with the Disney buyout.
Right.
But another Dave Filoni thing, that's just like, I mean, he knows what he's doing, but it seems like there could have been 2 more seasons out of it. I don't know. Well, 4 just doesn't seem like enough for a popular show like that.
It doesn't. You're right. I feel like Clone Wars could have won. I mean, I think they had. So it ended after 5. They released the Lost Missions, which was 13 episodes of season 6 technically. But as we learned at Celebration, they were always a year ahead. Mm-hmm. So they were working on season 7 of the Clone Wars when we were getting season 5. Mm-hmm. And I think they said that they had about 10 seasons planned out for Clone Wars. Wow. Because it was not only going to meet up with episode 3, but it was actually going to overlap it a little bit because of Ahsoka's storyline. There was that storyline where Ahsoka comes back and she's leading that mission with Rex against Maul while Anakin and Obi-Wan are freeing the Chancellor in episode 3. So that was going to kind of bleed in. And then, of course, there was Order 66, and you're going to find out how Rex survived episode 6, or didn't fall into the Order 66, how Ahsoka survived. You were just going to see a lot of that, and then it was going to kind of go away, kind of end. Because I do wish that we had a proper ending. And there was a lot of Boba Fett storylines that we saw. The reason why he has that thing in his helmet, the dent in his helmet. There was a lot of stuff that was going to be explained, I think, through Clone Wars. I truly still think that they could still close out the series. For some reason, part of me still feels like they're going to somehow just all of a sudden be like, okay, we've got like 10 more episodes. This is how it's going to end. Because you can tell at Celebrations and all of Dave Filoni's interviews that he is always talking about how he didn't end that series properly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Part of me just feels like that's going to happen, but I don't know. I don't know if we need it. Now because Rebels kind of wraps up a lot of those, Rex, Ahsoka, he kind of was able to close those stories out, but I just feel like there's a lot with Boba Fett I don't know. There's a lot there that didn't get answered, didn't get finished out. Mm-hmm. So, but Rebels, what do you think? So Filoni, after this is done, what do you think, or what do you want to see out of the next animated series? Because there's going to be another animated series.
Yeah, of course. I hadn't really thought about it. Man.
Well, because I don't know if you knew this either, but at first they were putting everything on Netflix. Well, they just recently announced that they're pulling everything from Netflix, and Disney is starting its own streaming service.
Oh, of course.
So they are going to be streaming, obviously, every movie that Disney has put out, every TV show, and then, of course, it's going to open the door for brand new exclusive series from Star Wars, from Marvel, from Disney. So there's going to be more content from Star Wars on there now.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you another thing, but first the animated thing. What time period or what storylines would you be interested in seeing?
I mean, I think some pre-episode 1 stuff would be cool.
Wow.
You know, like some Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Some young Qui-Gon stuff. Or even younger, like Padawan, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Type stuff. I know a lot of people are real crazy about the Old Republic stuff. They can make that canon.
Correct.
And
yeah, you're going way back then.
Yeah. You know, just Jedi and Sith everywhere. That'd be cool. But I kind of think some things that nestle up closer to the beginning of episode 1 would be cool. You know,
I am 100% surprised you would say that.
Well, I just think it's an opportunity to make the story better.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
Maybe just make people maybe appreciate the prequels a little bit more. And also, I'm real sacred about 4, 5, 6 and things that might happen in between there, and representing Luke, Han, and Leia in a different form.
Yeah.
You know, like having someone else voice Luke or Han or Leia. That's a little sacred to me. So, like, I'm not going to say, I want to see more stuff around 4, 5, 6 or what happens in between the movies. You know, I think that's better for books and comic books than for animated, personally.
I'm pretty convinced that we're going to see... I don't know. I'm pretty convinced we're going to see an animated series after episode 6.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of time in between there.
And they're not exploring that time right now.
So dealing with who? With
dealing with
Skywalker
Luke,
family?
Dealing with Luke starting the council. Starting the Jedi Council.
Well, they better get Mark Hamill to voice it.
I think they could. I think they could. I think he would do it. You know, and again, the only reason I say that true is because out of all the books and comics they're releasing, there's nothing about that time frame, and there's especially nothing about Luke. There's nothing about Luke. They're holding that back somehow for some reason. And now it could be that, you know, they'll wait till 8, 9 come out, and then they'll come out flooded with comics or books or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like Filoni, you know, he did the Clone Wars.
He put in his time.
He put in his time. Well, he did. He bridged that gap between 2 and 3. He told that story. He told the story about the start of the rebellion, how it started, and who those were. I feel like if someone would say, if Kathleen would say, "What about Luke?" he would be all over that. You know what I mean? Of course, you could still. Obviously, there would be Leia still with the Senate and all this stuff, and you know, a little bit of Han too. You know, but I think I don't know. I think seeing how he would start this new Jedi Order and how far did he get? You know, until Ben Solo, Kylo Ren destroyed it. I mean, maybe again we'll see that. I don't know, but you know, we've never seen flashbacks in Star Wars movies before. So
that's right. Just visions now.
Just visions. So I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be something like that, animated. And again, since it's animated, you can get, you know, a Mark Hamill voice back, and you know, I don't think Harrison Ford would do it, but no, you get Alden Ehrenreich, who's playing Han Solo. Maybe he'll do it.
I guess.
You get Carrie Fisher's daughter to do Carrie Fisher. You know? So, so yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, animated wise. I mean, Filoni. I mean, obviously he's not. I'm pretty sure he's not going to go anywhere, so he's got to be working on something. And I'm surprised they didn't announce it at Celebration. I thought they would announce something.
Oh, yeah. I guess they wanted, you know, 4 to get season 4 to, you know, have its time to shine. But also, like, you know, the First Order coming up.
Yeah.
And like the pieces of the Empire,
Uh-huh.
and that'd be kind of interesting. You know, I don't
Totally.
know.
Yeah, and I would actually like. It's funny because I mentioned the Thrawn novel that came out. At Celebration. Timothy Zahn wrote that. Because I read that or listened to an audiobook, but as soon as I was done, I was like, man, they at least should make an animated movie of this. See, that's what I would like to see. Is like what DC does with their animated movies. They adapt from the books.
Mm-hmm.
That to me would be killer. Like if they did Aftermath as an animated series, if they did not a series but an animated movie, they do Thrawn as an animated movie, or any of these books.
Any of them would be better than the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, right. You remember me and you were the only ones that were sitting in that theater.
In the theater.
Well, and I think we was a couple weeks after, because I totally did not know that was out. Like I just happened to be like, there's a Star Wars movie out, an animated Star Wars movie. Because that was, 2007, I think, or something like that. And it was like, I mean, everybody just thought it was dead. And the internet wasn't really big then as far as you can getting the news, it's just, I don't know how I even found it. I was like, Chad, there's a freaking Star Wars movie, man. We need to go. So we went. And yeah, it wasn't that good.
No.
But the series ended up being a lot better.
Yeah.
It was just really kid cheesy and, Jabba's son. It was like really weird. But it was the introduction of Asajj Ventress.
And Ahsoka.
Asajj Ventress, I can go on and on about that, but she has become one of my probably top 5 characters in the Star Wars universe, based on a book called Dark Disciple. Now, that Dark Disciple book was based on Clone Wars episodes. They turned that into a novel. That, I don't know how they would have done it, because there's a lot of, it's very mature. Like, there's a lot of, there's a lot of love and like sex, and there's, Jedi Quinlan Voss, who is kind of falls in love with her. There's all, but it's very dark also because of what Dooku does to her and does to him. It's very dark, and I don't know how they would have translated that in the series. Like,
well,
but as a novel, it was fantastic, and Lucas's daughter is the one that wrote it. George Lucas's daughter.
Really?
Yes. So she had written some of the last seasons of the Clone Wars, and she wrote this series. And then when she found out it wasn't going to, they commissioned it to be a book, so she sat with Christy Golden and they wrote the novel. She wrote the novel based on that series. But God, why am I drawing blanks? Her name, Lucas, Karen, no, Lucas. Shoot, I can't believe it. Anyway, I'll find that out too. So anyway, what else?
His son's name's Jet, right?
Jet Lucas.
Lucas.
Yeah. What else about anything else about Clone Wars or Rebels that you want to? Do you think? Well, the other thing I was going to ask is not animated possibilities of a live action series, because I dare say it, but Star Trek just put out a live action series again. It premiered Sunday.
They did?
Yes. Do you know this?
What's it called?
Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, yeah. I think I'd heard of that.
Yeah. The girl who played Sasha in Walking Dead is on it, as well as Michelle Yeoh, Jason Isaacs. Good cast. And it looks good as far as the effects, and it's like, why couldn't Star Wars do a live action series? You think we're going to get one?
Yeah, probably. Probably on the Disney Netflix channel or whatever it is. The Disney Network.
Yeah, you don't think they'll put it on national television?
No.
Wow.
Because with, as popular as some Netflix originals are, Stranger Things and these ones that really drive
Katie Lucas.
subscriptions. Katie.
I knew it was Kay.
Yeah, I think they would put it on their thing.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I mean, Marvel went straight to Netflix with their series stuff. I just wonder. I just hope that they would. I don't know how they do budgets as far as like, does a Netflix series have more of a budget than they would on CBS, NBC? I don't know.
Right.
ABC would. Disney owns ABC, so it would be an ABC series. I don't know if they put more money into that or that versus, because I don't know if the ad money is better than Netflix subscriptions or online subscriptions. I don't know. Yeah, I do think we'll get one though. I do think we'll get one.
Yeah, I think eventually. I mean, that was always George's dream,
right?
But
he couldn't get it. At least what McCallum said or something like that. They couldn't get it under 10 million an episode.
Under 10 million an episode, yeah. Woof.
But they had 100 episodes written.
Jeez.
Live action Star Wars show. Jeez. Okay, as we kind of close this out, real quick, I do want to mention I got finished with finally the last novel of the previous novels. Now, the most recent novels that just came out were Claudia Gray's Leia and Delilah Dawson's Phasma, which I'm about to dive into one of those. But out of all the other novels, I finally got caught up and finished. The last one I had to finish was Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, same one that did Leia. And so Lost Stars is a young adult novel. It's weird. So there's adult novels, young adult novels, and junior novels or whatever. So out of the young adult and adults, those are the ones I've been reading. I don't know. Lost Stars ended up being a really, really good story. Now I do all these. I did audiobook. I gotta say, unfortunately I didn't think the narration of it was very good. They got a younger kid to do it, kind of younger guy to do it. He wasn't able to kind of change his voices a lot like the other ones have. So I wasn't really enjoying that as much, but I did enjoy the story. Now the story is about two kids, a woman and a boy and a girl that grew up, and Thane and Sienna. Now, what happens is they both join the Empire, and this is prior to. So they were born around the same time as Empire Day, which is the birth of the Empire. Mm-hmm. So they're about 16 or so when they join the Empire, as they want to be pilots. They want to fly for the Empire. And see, that's what's weird, is that it's weird reading books like that, because kids growing up during that time frame, they just look at the Empire as being like this, almost like you would as an American soldier, like this great honor to go enlist and to be a part of this empire. You know what I mean? It's like they don't see the corruption and the evilness, and they just see a government and the ability to be a part of it, right? And so anyway, they join, and it's great because it does weave its way through. I think you would really enjoy it, Chad, because you're a big original trilogy fan. It weaves its way through the Battle of Yavin, the Battle of Hoth, from different perspectives, Endor, and then of course the final battle, which is the Battle of Jakku, because this was a Journey to the Force Awakens book. So this came out, so it kind of hinted at Jakku, what happened there, hence the down Star Destroyers and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So, in fact, spoiler, but this has been 2 years, so it should be a spoiler. But the Star Destroyer that Rey is in, that's the Inflictor, and that's you find out why or how it just lands on Jakku, right?
Cool.
So anyway,
Jakku.
so great. So what happens is Thane is really turned upside down when he sees the destruction of Alderaan, because he cannot believe that this empire would do that, would destroy a planet, billions of people. Mm-hmm. So he defects. Well, he actually just quits. Eventually runs into Wedge doing some jobs, and Wedge recruits him into the rebellion. So then he's on this side of the war, she's on this side of the war, but somehow they keep crossing paths because they're both at the Battle of Hoth. He's flying, and she's in the Imperial ship. She's on the Executor at that point, but she kind of sees his flying tactics and understands. He's one of the ones weaving through the AT-ATs, the AT-ATs. Anyway, it's really cool. Again, they cross paths a little bit on they're actually cross paths on a little bit on the Battle of Endor. She's in a TIE fighter. He's in an X-Wing. Anyway, so it's really cool because they get the different perspective of those battles. And, it's cool because he's like, it's in the book where he's flying around. He says, and then across the comm, Lando says, the shield is down, commence attack. So it's like this whole different side of the war. It's really, really cool. Then, of course, you learn more about the Battle of Jakku, which takes place a year after Return of the Jedi, and how that all unfolds. And like I said, the Afflictor and how that lands on Jakku. So it's a really cool story between the two. And it's a really just cool perspective and very nostalgic to kind of go back and listen to those battles again from different sides. So I recommend it. It's really, really good. I'm going to put out my list. I'm working on my list now since I'm caught up now with all the novels, just like we do with the movies and stuff. I'm going to rank all the novels. And I've said it on here numerous times, but number one by far still is Thrawn. Thrawn is unbelievable. That book is unbelievable. So, anyway.
Cool.
You should read it, Chad.
Or listen to it.
And I got the audiobooks for it if you want to listen to it.
Nice.
All right, so we'll wrap with just kind of going into what you should look for in October. Of course, we're doing our own journeys we're doing our journey to The Last Jedi. Casey and I are doing commentaries with the guests of all the films. We're also cutting together new trailers, fan trailers, kind of that's to the teaser music of The Last Jedi. If you haven't seen those yet, you can go to our website or go to our YouTube channel. They're all on there. October is The Empire Strikes Back. Chad is our guest for that. We'll be recording that here very soon and putting that out. But I knew that was your favorite film, or your so. Like I told you, I was kind of prepping you a little bit, talking about it, but like it's not really. We're trying not to necessarily commentate about the film, but really pull topics out of it and chat about it. But a little preview, because I'll say one of the. We'll just go ahead and do it on here. When was the first time you actually saw The Empire Strikes Back?
I cannot remember.
Really?
Yeah, no, I really can't, because I have an older sister. She's 6 years older than me. So she was the one who got me into Star Wars. So I was watching Star Wars secondarily before I even knew what I was watching, because she was watching it. So,
right.
Yeah. So I was...
So sometime at home in the 80s somewhere.
Yeah, because I was born the year that movie came out.
Yes.
So I definitely didn't see it in the theater. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, VHS or... Yeah. I know they played them on TV some back then.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably did,
because everyone had like a VHS recording
yes.
of it off of TV.
Yes.
So yeah, I cannot recall. Just as far as back as I can remember watching Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I was like you. I didn't see it in the theater either, because I was only 3. I wasn't even 3 yet. I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater, but I even think I saw Empire after that, because we didn't have the VHSs by then. I think sometime in the 80s we got it, and I was, I watched it at home at some point too. So, but yeah. Anyway, what? Because this will be one of the what makes that your favorite film?
I think it has the strongest story of the original 3. The effects, which never really influence my favorite or not, but they looking back at it, you know, at a critical eye, they're definitely better than episode 4. They improved a lot. And I don't know. It's just the visuals in the whole thing, you know, the 2 lightsabers lighting up in silhouette, you know, the red and the blue, and just there's so many settings, you know, Cloud City and Hoth, and it's just like instantly iconic.
Right.
You get a lot more of Darth Vader in this one, but you still have the mystery that gets unraveled in Jedi. You just have still straight up mystery, but you get that revelation. No, I am your father.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly hard to put your finger on, but it's a culmination of all those things. Just make it my favorite.
Yeah, and it's true about the settings and locations. You know, even the bridge of the Executor and all this stuff. I mean, there's different because it was a massive jump from A New Hope to Empire because A New Hope was so contained, you know, with a little bit on a desert planet and then a little bit on the Death Star and then a little bit in Yavin, and that was it. You know, you barely saw the vastness of things. You started getting a lot bigger in Empire, and it was
Oh, and Dagobah, of course, and Yoda. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was just, the world got bigger with Empire, and obviously the story got bigger. And yeah, it's by far still.
Boba Fett.
And yeah, Boba Fett. Didn't have to hardly say anything, but he was awesome.
Bounty Hunters, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's still up there. It's still hard to beat. Yeah, I'm not going to ask you to do it here, but I will ask you on the commentary to rank all 8 films. But I'm curious, what's your number 2 right now?
Number 2.
So I think you'd be surprised at maybe what mine would be, or mine is.
I don't know about that.
No.
I mean, I haven't really sat down and thought about it, but my number 2 is usually Jedi.
Even after Force Awakens has come out and Rogue One? Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So mine's Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
Surprised?
A little. I mean, I thought it would either be Episode 7 or Rogue One.
See, 7's actually down.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good, but it's not like, I mean, it's just not, you know, it wasn't, I don't know, there wasn't anything really too unique about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's enjoyable. Like, it's one of those ones you could just pop in and just watch it over and over. But to me, like, the more I watch Rogue One, man, that movie is so good. That movie is so good. It's right up there with Empire for me. It's right behind Empire to me.
It's a lot like Empire.
It is very much like Empire. I agree. Yeah. It's very a lot of tragedy in it, a lot of story, good characters. It's phenomenal. I really do like it. So anyway, but we'll get more into that when we do our actual commentary here. You look for that in October. Probably after it'll be like a couple weeks in October. We got a lot of stuff going on. I'm actually going on vacation next week. So yeah. But I think how it's going to line up, just let everybody kind of know, got Chad on here for 198. We'll be doing a 199 when I get back, which means that I think our 200th episode will be talking about the trailer of episode 8. So I think it's going to fall in that way.
So that means you're going to watch it.
I am definitely going to watch it. Unfortunately, I am going to watch it. I know I'm definitely going to watch it. There's no way I can not
Right.
Hell, I couldn't even be around any of you guys.
Right.
And it's just
know.
impossible.
Yeah.
Because I'd probably hear it in the office anyway down the hall. You know, so yeah. So no, I'll watch it. I'll probably watch it 50 times and get ready for it is weird because Force Awakens we got 3 trailers. We got a teaser and then kind of a semi trailer and then a full trailer. I mean, this one we got a teaser and then the trailer. That's definitely gonna be it. And we might get some TV spots, obviously, but there's a lot less, And then we keep saying it, but so I just don't see us getting much about Han Solo. But come December, which I feel like we might get a Han Solo teaser, maybe attached to Thor, which is in November. But you think about it, that's only 6 months from the movie release.
Right.
I mean, we haven't seen anything from Han Solo. We didn't really talk about it, but I don't know if you're skeptical really about that movie at all.
Yeah. It's Han Solo without Harrison Ford. Wow.
Yeah.
How could you not?
Well, true.
Come on.
Would teasers and trailers kind of maybe distract you, defer you from seeing it at all? I mean, you're gonna see it obviously, but
yeah, I'm gonna see it.
But would you? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know.
It's definitely a I don't know how you say it. It could be a step back for Star Wars. Could be.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in quality but just fan reaction and fan sentiment. It might be like, okay, wait a minute, this was a bad idea.
Yeah, we got a little excited.
Yeah, we went too far.
Yeah,
stick with original characters like Rogue One. Mm-hmm. Don't mess up my
childhood,
my childhood
life.
Yeah, don't mess with my life
existence. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Chad, that's it.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
So again, look for Chad. We'll be obviously promoting that like crazy here in a couple weeks when we get the commentary out for The Empire Strikes Back. Obviously, at the top of the list on many, many Star Wars fans. We got a lot to talk about with that movie. So we'll record that, get that out there. I got the trailer almost done. Well, I may even put that out before we actually do the commentary just to get people hyped about that. Really excited about how that looks right now. Of course, Chad's got his own channel going on now. It's Bourbon Night on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So if you're into drinking heavily like he is, go check that out. Go have some bourbon with Chad Perkins.
Yeah.
Is it / Bourbon Night? It's Bourbon Night?
Yeah.
YouTube? Yeah.
YouTube.com/It's Bourbon Night.
Okay, go check that out. And of course, we're going to have Chad back on here, of course, when we get closer to the movie, because we got tons to talk about as we gear up for The Last Jedi coming December 15th of this year. Just a mere, I think it's like 79 days away. Incredible. So thanks for listening, guys. He's at Chad Perkins 21 on Twitter. I'm D Cottingham 21 on Twitter. Of course, go to InsideTheForce.com for all our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And that is completely it, I think.
I think that is it.
Okay, so thanks, Chad.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. Check us out next week, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooney. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force, then all of us.